All right, well, my name is Tyler Criss. I am a sales engineer at Qualia Labs. We are a Qualia company based out of Dallas, Texas. We are a small startup company spun out of Dr. Walter Voigt's lab, and we fabricate electrodes on our proprietary polymer called shape memory polymer. This is a business card printed on that material.
And so how does this work?
So the important thing about it is it has a very specific glass transition temperature, and we program that chemically to be very near body temperature, actually just below body temperature. And what that means is that at room temperature, if I exaggerate the effects by cooling it down a little bit, you can see that the polymer is quite stiff. It's actually around a gigapascal in terms of Young's modulus. And simply by heating it up in my hands, roughly at body temperature, a little below that, in just a few seconds, it transitions a few orders of magnitude in stiffness down to just a couple of megapascals. And so that makes surgeries much easier, especially for cortical probes. So what we really pride ourselves on is that our cortical probes and peripheral cuffs and all of our devices are printed on this polymer.
And the cuffs have your name on it, right?
They do.
It's all your business card.
It's all Tyler Criss.
It's all Tyler Criss. Nice.
So this makes for an easier implantation process, as the devices can go in at a stiff modulus that are. It's easier to puncture the brain if it's a cortical probe. It's easier to mold it around the electrode if it's medium stiff like this. So for a peripheral cuff, we suggest slightly softening it before implantation. And then once it's in the body, if it's inserted into the body, it softens and it becomes, it really lessens the foreign body response by just mimicking the body's stiffness much more. If there's any jarring through the animal moving, then it's much less likely to cut up the brain or damage surrounding tissue. And then as a peripheral cuff, it really gets a nice connection between the electrode and the nerve that it's wrapped around, because it softens into the same molding as the nerve itself.
Okay. And is there a minimum size that you can make this, or is it just as small as?
We can go fairly small. We have electrodes on our cortical probes that are just a few microns in size, but we have our peripheral cuffs that are a few millimeters in electrode length. So most of our entire devices are on the order of a few millimeters to a few centimeters, but we can print electrodes as small as a few microns.
And so what are these other devices then?
So we have devices here from all of our different collaborators. We have some cortical probes up here at the top of all different shank lengths, electrode count, shank designs. Over here we have our epicortical array that lays on top of the brain. We also have some plexus blankets, well, one plexus blanket right here and one right here. And then we have at the bottom our two spinal cord devices, a recorder and a stimulator. And these were all spun out of collaborations with other research labs across the nation. So we do make custom electrode designs as well. In this box over here, we have many of our cuffs, almost all of our different designs, but these can also be edited and changed slightly to fit specific needs as well.
Okay, cool. And yeah, so how new is the company actually, and yeah, when did you? What's the story behind it?
Yeah, we were spun out of Dr. Walter Voigt's lab. We received a DARPA SBIR grant in 2015, 2016. So the company is just about 2 years old now. We just received our second phase of funding, our second and a half phase of funding, Lewis, I think. Phase 2.2 is what it is. So. We've been around for about 2 years and really been selling for the past year or so. So we actually our prices are subsidized right now by our DARPA grant, so we can actually offer very competitive prices in the market. So we're really trying to get our name out there and get these awesome devices in people's hands right now.
And if you want to say, you can say, you don't have to, but what kind of prices is it?
So right now, cuffs are on the range of around $150. Things can change based on connector, wire length, wire type, electrode count, electrode coding, things like that. Cuffs are about $150, and then probes are about $100 more than that. Any higher count electrodes will be a little more expensive, and any custom connections will be a little more expensive. But probably around the $150 to $250 range for most devices.
Okay, cool. And so what are some next steps? What are you guys working on right now?
We're working really a lot on the packaging on the back end of things. As we know in the neural space, most issues come from attaching connectors to devices. So we actually have Ian over here working on some great moldings that will really streamline the process for us and make sure that there's no errors in terms of connecting individual wires to our pads and getting a good connection between the back end and the electrode site itself. We're also working on some higher channel count cortical probes that we're really excited about. We have these new designs here that we showed that don't have the connectors yet, but those should be actually arriving this week. So those are probably two of the most the things in the pipeline that are going to be happening soon.
Okay, cool. Anything else you want to add? Anything?
I don't think so. We have awesome electrodes, and I really hope that more people will try them out, and they'll see that we are going to be a competitor in the market.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's cool technology. So
yeah. Thank you for the time.
Yeah. Thank you.